Hello, welcome to the Green Hub YouTube page. My name is Tona and I'm the co-founder of the Green Hub Project for Teens. We are a charity in Surrey that supports young people who go through a difficult time, struggle or have anxiety, and we offer therapeutic gardening sessions. But we also offer support for parents, and that's called the Parent Hub. And the Parent Hub is a group that meets once a month, and it's all free, but parents can come together and they can listen, they can learn, and they can also support each other. And there's always a therapist there who will facilitate the session. And I'm really, really excited because with us today we have Karin Backa Sigrell, and you're also my mum. And you are a clinical psychologist, and you're also a psychotherapist and a psychoanalyst, but you've also worked with families for over 5 decades.
Yeah. I actually started my career in a child psychiatric clinic in Stockholm, and I worked there full time for 20 years, and that I've been working. Then I've been in private practice after that. And when you work with children, you work with the whole family. You also work individually, so you kind of work with everybody. And I've been doing lots of also child psychotherapy, psychoanalysis. I've even had parents groups. I've been supervising a psychologist working with infants. So there's a big span. And after my retirement, I've been working mostly with couples and with families, sometimes 3 generations, sometimes siblings, and that with a co-therapist. So we've been 2, a male and a female psychotherapist working together. We are not doing that anymore, so I'm kind of stepping down due to my age, but still having a little bit of clinical work. So, Tona, you have questions for me?
I have a lot of questions for you. So we're going to do a couple of scenarios where we want to kind of have a discussion. And I know that my mom and I we talked about this before, and she already made me aware that she's going to contradict things that I believe in or biases that I have. And the whole idea is to make people kind of think a little bit about the family from a different perspective. Family dynamics is really powerful. So the first case we're going to talk about is the family where you have mom and dad and they have 3 teenagers, and they have not been getting on very well. So they've been arguing for a couple of years, and there's been really a lot of tension in the family, a lot of difficulties. And eventually they decide to separate, and the 3 teenagers then face themselves in this position where they have to go between mom and dad. And the way it works in England is quite different from Sweden, because in Sweden you go week on with one parent and week on with another parent. Here it seems to be one parent takes more responsibility, and the children or the teens are with them longer. The children then go between, and the parents are still fighting even if they're separated. And the teens are really struggling with this shift in between. Is this a scenario that you see a lot?
Yes. If we think of having the teen in focus, they don't want their parents to continue fighting. They want to be able to see each parents and have a good time with them and not hear the parents complaining about the other parents. And there is an idea that even divorced parents should have the same rules. And I think, well, they have divorced because they can't get along and they probably don't love each other anymore. So how on earth can they come to an agreement? Let's face it, idealistically they may be able to do it, but most often they're not able to do it. So I always say, well, at the mother's house, there are certain rules. And of course, a teenager can adjust to that. And the rules will be completely different at the father's house. it is so much better to accept that. To think that divorced parents can agree on rules when they couldn't agree when they were married, that's very seldom it happens. And it relieves the parents trying to find that they will agree because they won't. And it relieves the teenager. Is that?
That's very, very interesting, because I think so many families, you will always have the parents going, well, why does my ex not follow these guidelines or these rules or boundaries? And there's still lots of argument even though they've divorced. And they say that the children are affected by going from living in one way to another. But actually, you're saying that you have separated for a reason.
Even small children can adjust to that.
Yeah.
I have to go to bed at 8 at my mother's. I can stay up until I am tired,
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm thinking, in society there are different rules.
Yes. And often when you have a couple and one doesn't want to change and doesn't want to talk about it, whether they're together or not, and the other one wants to talk about it, and gets so frustrated that the other half or the other ex doesn't want to communicate. What do you say about that?
Well, if there's one thing that is almost impossible, it's to change somebody else. So I always say, you can, if you really want to make a change, see what you can change within yourself. Don't try to change your partner. You're not going to succeed.